Okay, so I was filming and for some reason my phone stopped filming and I already started to talk. This is what happens when I talk about my dad. I'll get weird messages and my phone just stopped recording. I will speak about my dad. I will share what happened to him. There's a bunch of lies about him and what happened to him. I don't know exactly what happened to him, especially his death, but it was suspicious and they called it suicide. I don't believe it was suicide, even though he had a suicide note and a recording, which can be a bit confusing, but it doesn't make sense. So I will share. I have every right to. I'm his daughter. So anyone who is bothered by it, then deal with it. Because it's my dad and I have every right to. If you don't want to hear it or if it bothers you, then click off of this video. No, I'm not being mean, but I'm done being told to be quiet and be silent and stop talking. No, that's my dad. How about don't listen if you don't want to hear it? No one gets to tell me when it comes to my dad about what to do. I'll share if I want to share. I'll search if I want to search. I do what I want when it comes to my father. So I will be sharing about this medical examiner report and records about my dad's death. Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Office. Medical Examiner Report and Records. Notice. Please be advised that the Snohomish County Medical Examiner reports and records contain detailed medical documents with descriptive and detailed information of specific medical and physical findings during an autopsy examination. Furthermore, this documentation may include graphic and detailed scene and autopsy findings. This information may be regarded as extremely graphic and disturbing and may not be appropriate or suitable for certain individuals. Please be advised of the graphic nature of this report and documents prior to viewing. So I will be reading each paper. I will show you before I read them, and then I'm just gonna keep going. But just know that everything on here is not true. And there's papers that are not here that are supposed to be here because they didn't give it to me. And there's a lot of lies about my dad, but here we go. His death is suspicious and I don't believe he committed suicide, despite the recording and the suicide note. Alright, this is the next paper I'll be reading. Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Record, case number 10SN0615. Name, Ellis III Jesse. Printed Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. Mind you, I paid for this on July 13th, 2020. This is the receipt. And I believe that they made changes to maybe this or the whole thing, the records and the report, or one of them or all of them, because of what it says here on this part right here. See, change date July 14th. All right. Type I'm gonna be reading the dispatch one. Type ME jurisdiction, call type scene transport, class suicide, investigator Babcock, call date 2/22/2010, time 13:01, aerial date 2/22/2010, time 14, death area Bethel, death date nothing's written, found date 2/22/2010, death time nothing's written, time approx nothing's written, brought to morgue yes, office arrival date 2/22/2010, time 15:30, case entry complete date 3/2/2010, entry complete time 14:30. Now I'll be reading the location of death, that blue thing right here. Street 3333 228th Street SE space Z City Bethel, State WA, which is Washington. Zip is 98021. City limits, yes. Death place, van. Facility type, nothing's written. Facility, hospital, nothing's written. Hospital area, nothing's written. Place comment, nothing's written. Now I'll be reading the deceased. Deceased, last name Ellis III, first name Jesse, middle name nothing's written, but his middle name is Lawrence, Lawrence. John Doe, no. Alias, last name nothing's written, first name, middle, for the alias nothing's written. And the social security number, birth date is 6/30/1953, age 56 years old, CPS notified, no. And then just the address, again, in the county is Snohomish, city limits, yes. Now I'll be reading the deceased information. Gender, male, race, nothing's written, served in military, no. Branch status, marital status. By the way, marital status should be yes or something, or my mom's name. Spouse, last name, nothing is written on the married part, and there should be, because my dad is married to my mom when he died. First, middle, birth city, birth state, education, job, kind of bus, the business or something. Incident or injury. Incident date, nothing's written. Date known, it says no. Date known says no. Incident time, nothing's written. Time approx, nothing's written. Day of week, nothing's written. Place, nothing's written. Place description, I believe. Decedent's van in which the decedent was residing. At work, no. L&I notified, no. And then the address again with the weather, which is nothing's written. Police officers, Detective Caban. Agency, Bethel Police Department. Police case number is 10-4504. Injury type, suicide. Injury kind, shotgun. Suicide note, yes. How occurred? Decedent found dead in van with apparent gunshot wound to head. Notes of suicidal ideation found. Injury comment, gunshot to head. Traffic related, no. Driver, no. Passenger, no. Pedestrian, no. Other, no. Ejected, no. Helmet, no. Seatbelt, no. Number of vehicles, nothing's written. Road conditions, nothing's written. Summary notes. This was the reported unattended death of a 56-year-old male found dead in the van in which he was living. Detective Caban reported that there was a shotgun lying next to the decedent. According to Detective Caban, the decedent has not been seen in 1.5 to 2 months. This office will respond to conduct a death investigation. CMB, I believe CMB means Crime Management Bureau. Now we're gonna read the METS case status. Status, it's blank. Entered or changed by SMENMD. Yeah, SMENMD. Changed date. Wait, hold on. Entered or changed by SMENMD. Changed date. 7/14/2020 at 1:39 p.m. So they changed it prior to printing this. They changed something. They changed some information. Let's hope they added the truth and not take out the truth and replaced it with lies, in which I think it's the truth replaced with lies. All right, now we will read this one. And by the way, my sister told me that my dad did not have an autopsy, and it's not true. I have 2 older sisters from his first wife, and that's what I mean. There's a lot of lies about my dad, especially from my own sisters. At least one of them. And she might be watching this. I don't care, it's the truth. They will deny. And a lot of people lie about my dad and doesn't want to talk about this, or especially his death. Maybe God will let me know one day. Maybe he won't, but I will give it in God's hands. It's up to him to let me know what truly happened to my father. Okay, oh wait, this is what I'll be reading. Maybe you can pause it. I hope it's not reversed on your end. Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Records, Circumstances of Death, 10SN0615, Ellis 3rd, Jesse. Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. This is what it's written, okay? This was This was the reported unattended death of a 56-year-old male found dead in the van in which he was living. Detective Caban reported that there was a shotgun lying next to the decedent. According to Detective Caban, the decedent has not been seen in 1.5 to 2 months. This office will respond to conduct a death investigation, CMB. On February 22, 2010, at 13:01, I was contacted by Detective Caban from Bethel PD in order to report the unattended death of a 56-year-old male found dead in his van. Investigator Colin and I arrived on scene located at 3333 228th Street, SE, Bethel, Washington, WA, at 1400 on 2/22/10. The following information was obtained from Detective Caban. According to Detective Caban, the decedent was last seen alive on November 28, 2009, when the decedent left work. The decedent was supposed to go into work on November 29, 2009, but called in sick. According to Detective Caban, the decedent was having problems at work and was being put on disciplinary action because the decedent was not being upfront about his overtime. By the way, he was being mistreated at work, so I do not believe everything that is put on here because he was oppressed at work. So don't believe everything that's on here, especially negative things about him. Detective Caban stated that when last at work, the decedent became upset and stormed out of his place of employment. This was the last time the decedent was seen alive. Approximately 2 months ago, a report of shots fired was called into 911 from the area where the decedent was living, which was a RV or mobile home park. Police responded, but did not find where the shots came from. On February 10, 2010, a welfare check was called in by the owner of the park who had not seen the decedent for 1.5 to 2 months. Again, an officer came out, knocked on the door of the camper van the decedent was supposedly living in. When the officer got no response, they left. On February 9, 2010, the property owner placed an order of eviction. On February 22, 2010, the owner of the park, the Sorry says the owner of the park and the letter A, and then Mr. J. Harmon made entry into the van and found the decedent deceased. Police were called out to the scene and began their investigation, at which time Detective Caban called our office to inform us of the death. The decedent has no known significant medical history at this time. Before I forget, one of my sisters told me that my dad was living in a house. So it's weird how he was found dead in a van. Again, my dad's death is very suspicious. I hear mixed, different stories. Don't believe everything you hear on here. Don't believe it. I can't even trust calling the police there because they would probably lie about his death. Or even people who did the investigation on his death and his body. Maybe they're being blackmailed or threatened that if they say the truth, something bad will happen. That's how suspicious it is. Alright, the scene consisted of camper van license plate TXC36JWP. By the way, it's spaced out TX space C36 space JWP. The conditions were sunny, clear, and warm. The interior conditions were cluttered with stacks of books, paper, garbage, and multiple other items, making it very difficult to gain access to the decedent. Law enforcement had opened the back door to the van prior to our arrival. The decedent was disturbed. The decedent was located lying in the rear of the van on the passenger side on 2 small mattresses and showed no signs of being disturbed. There was a Harrington and Richardson 20 GA shotgun serial number 72227, which appeared to have had the barrel sawed off. The weapon was lying perpendicular to the decedent's head. The weapon was lying on a pillow and was slightly angled downward with the barrel of the weapon aimed at the decedent's head. Law enforcement cleared the
the weapon. Upon doing so, a spent 20 GA Winchester shell was ejected. This was excuse me. Excuse me. This was photographed, collected, and transported to SCMEO, which means Snohomish County Medical Examiner's office. The O would be office. Lying next to the decedent's legs was a notepad that contained notes expressing suicidal ideation. This was collected along with a gun and brought to Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Office, SCMEO. A silver digital voice recorder was also found, with the last recording being on 11/28/09. I actually listened to it because my sister, when they went to the Philippines, both of them, my sisters, they let me listen to his recording, and then the other sister, just one, when I lived with her, she showed me my dad's headset that he was wearing, and then they put it in a Ziploc bag, you know. I saw that. Okay. The last recording was the decedent making several statements about random things, but then repeatedly stating, "Pull the trigger." This was, I did this because it has quotation marks. This was also collected and brought SCMEO. I confirmed the death and began examining the decedent at 14:30. The decedent was lying on his left side with his arms at shoulder level and bent and at the elbows. The right hand was within inches of the decedent's forehead, and the left hand was approximately about a foot from the head. The decedent was clad in a light-colored t-shirt and light-colored underwear. Rigor was difficult to determine as the decedent was badly decomposed and seemed fixed in the position I found him in. The body was cool to the touch. Lividity was not seen due to the post-mortem decomposition changes. There were signs of advanced post-mortem decomposition, including mold growth over the whole body. Drying of the hands, drying of the skin not covered by mold. Insect activity includes maggots underneath the right arm. There was visible trauma on the decedent. There was an apparent defect to the head. Pieces of the skull were located in the vein on the bed the decedent was lying on. No further abnormalities were appreciated in my preliminary examination. No indications of foul play were noted. Overall photographs of the scene and decedent were taken. And this is to continue from that. I transported property and the weapon to SCMEO with the decedent. Investigator Cullen and I departed the scene at 15:10. Courtney Babcock, Snohomish County Medical Examiner, case number 10SN0615. Alright, so this one is, these are the records, okay? Oh wait, this one, Medical Examiner report and records. So these are the records, which is this one, and then these two, which are together. Those are the records. And then the report will be these, and there's 5 pages of them. 5 pages. Yeah, these are the reports, but it's missing other reports that Dr. Norman Thiersch made, remember? Dr. Norman Thiersch made a report, but he inadvertently, I guess, forgot to sign it or something. I will get to it. I'm gonna read it here. Yeah, on this first page. This is the first page. Okay.
Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Office, External Report, Decedent Jesse Ellis III, case number 10SN0615. By the way, he has a middle name. It's Lawrence, Lawrence. His name is Jesse Lawrence Ellis III. And his legal name, also nickname, is Trey, Trey. That's also in his birth certificate. Alright, pathologic diagnosis. Number 1, bursting shotgun wound of the head with A, entrance forehead. B, exit left occipital scalp. C, multiple fractures of the vault and base of the skull. D, evacuation of the cranial cavity with lacerations of the brain. E, the Ford shotgun slug recovered from sheeting below head. Number 2, advanced post-mortem decomposition with A, desiccation. B, extensive mold growth. Opinion: this 56-year-old man was found dead in his van. A shotgun was found nearby. His death is attributed to a perforating shotgun blast to the head. In view of the scene and circumstances, including written and verbal statements of intent, the manner of death is classified as suicide. Comment: this post-mortem examination was performed by Dr. Norman Thiersch in February 2010. Okay, remember this part. Dr. Thiersch dictated a report following the examination, although the report was inadvertently left as an unsigned draft. Dr. Thiersch is no longer employed by the Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Office. I have reviewed the draft report and the photographs of the body. The report accurately depicts the photographic findings, and I concur with Dr. Thiersch's final opinion. J. Matthew Lacey, MD, Chief Medical Examiner. There's sign on the top and then date signed July 14th, 2020, and then there's NT/KB/JML. NT, capital letters MT slash lowercase letters KB slash lowercase letters JML. So that's the first page. Now we're gonna go to the second one. And I might be reading a bit too fast for some people. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm trying my best not to read it too fast and not too slow so that you understand me and that the video will not be too long. Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Office, External Report, Decedent Jesse Ellis III, case number 10SN0615. Oh, and also the reason why I don't really want my video to be too long because I want to post this just one. I don't want to do it in parts because YouTube will not let me post the whole thing sometimes. Let's say YouTube will let me post a 30-minute video all at once, but sometimes it won't, and I have to do it in parts, which is very strange. It's usually what happens when I post stuff. That's why it's in parts on my YouTube channel. But I will continue now. Date of examination is February 23, 2010. External examination. Identification. The body is identified by medical examiner number 10SN0615, written on a bracelet about the decedent's right ankle and on a piece of paper over the abdomen. In addition, photographs are taken under my direction for identification purposes. Clothing. The following articles of clothing are on the body. Number 1, a formerly white, now green, brown, and red t-shirt which shows extensive body fluid staining. The garment is cut from the body. In addition, there are small numbers of maggots within the garment. Number 2, a pair of formerly white, now brown to red to green, jockey-style men's briefs. Now this is after number 2, okay? This is not part of number 2 anymore. The body is partially wrapped in a blue fitted sheet that shows extensive blood staining, as well as decomposition, fluid staining, and mold. Also present is a pillow inside a light blue pillowcase matching the sheet. The pillow also shows extensive body fluid staining. Present on the head. of the decedent are a pair of broken headphones. The portion of the headphones that goes over the top of the head accompanies the body separately. The headphones show mold and decomposing body fluid and blood. That's the headphones I'm talking to you about that my oldest sister showed me, April. Because my second oldest sister is Crystal, so it's April, Crystal, Laura, which is me. So yeah, April has the headphones and she showed me that when I lived with her. Alright. In a cardboard box is a single-shot 20-gauge breech type shotgun. The barrel has been sawed off at 13 inches. The weapon is a Harrington and Richards brand weapon with serial number 072227. The stock and grip are of wood. The barrel and housing are of dark gunmetal. There is apparent corrosion present over the barrel and small amounts of mold. Present in the weapon is a single spent 20-gauge shotgun shell. The shell is made with yellow plastic. Page 3. I'm gonna start here now. I'm not gonna read this anymore. I'm just gonna read starting here now. Found in the sheets with the victim is a markedly deformed apparent lead slug with a Found in the sheets with the victim is a markedly deformed apparent lead slug with a small adherent portion of wadding. The wadding is represented as a small round disc. General description. The body is that of a well-developed, well-nourished adult Caucasian male whose appearance is consistent with the reported age of 56. The length is 6 feet and the weight is 2 to 3 pounds. The body is in the advanced stages of decomposition with a white-gray mold present over all surfaces of the body. In addition, there is desiccation of the body, particularly prominent on the extremities and the fingers. Also present is green to red discoloration over the chest and abdomen, particularly prominent over the left abdomen. Also present are areas of skin slippage present over the abdomen, as well as the extremities. There is apparent dried and clotted blood over the left upper extremity. Rigidity is absent from the body. Lividity appears to be present on the left side of the body. However, this evaluation is difficult due to the advanced decomposition. The head shows gray, closely cropped hair measuring up to 1/2 inches in length. The eyebrows and eyelashes are markedly disrupted and absent. The sideburns are present and extend to the upper attachments of the external ears and are irregularly confluent with a stubble of beard measuring up to 1/16 inch present over the upper lip, face, chin, and neck. However, this evaluation is difficult due to the extensive destruction of the face and mold growth. The dark brown body hair is present in an unremarkable adult male distribution. There is an extensive bursting type injury to the head as described and enumerated below. The ears are well formed and symmetric. The right ear shows extensive mold growth and the left ear shows purple-red discoloration of decomposition. The eyes are absent from the orbital regions due to extensive injury described below. The skeleton of the nose is apparently fractured but also shows drying due to desiccation. The nares are patent. The mouth shows advanced post-mortem decomposition with autolysis or autolysis. I'm gonna say autolysis. AUTOLYSIS. The natural dentition is present in both the maxilla and the mandible. The neck demonstrates a midline trachea.
The chest is well formed and symmetric and shows the previously described evidence of decomposition. The abdomen is protuberant, shows desiccation and purple to red to green discoloration of decomposition. No masses are palpated. Page 4. The hands and arms are well formed and symmetric. The fingernails are closely trimmed, overhanging up to 1/16 inch. There is marked desiccation of the fingertips as well as extensive mold growth over both arms and hands. Mold growth is most prominent on the right arm. The feet and legs are well formed and symmetric, showing extensive gray to white mold growth. The toenails are closely trimmed, overhanging up to 1/8 inch. The soles of the feet are remarkable for calloused skin and desiccation of the feet and toes. The back demonstrates a midline vertebral column. Small numbers of maggots are present over the back. Scars and distinguishing marks. No tattoos or needle tracks are identified. Examination is made difficult due to the extensive mold growth over the surfaces of the body. The appearance and condition of the body are consistent with the date and time of death as listed in the report of investigation. But remember, they did not put the date and time in this paper. Look, death date right here. Death date and death time. I believe it's written in Dr. Norman Pierce's report that they did not send because he inadvertently left us as an unsigned draft. And I just don't believe that. And God only knows the truth, but external evidence of injury number 1. There is a bursting type shotgun wound to the head. Starting from the region of the right forehead is a 9x7 inch laceration extending over the vertex and top of the head. The exact location of the entrance is difficult to determine due to the extensive destruction of the head, in addition to the extended post-mortem interval with drying and desiccation of the skin, as well as extensive mold growth. However, the entrance is most likely in the area of the right side of the forehead. The exit appears to be over the left occipital region. OCCIPITAL. The exit appears to be over the left occipital region. However, the exact location is difficult to determine due to the extensive loss of scalp as well as loss of the skull in this region. Examination of this laceration shows evacuation of the cranial cavity with the absence of the cerebral hemispheres, as well as other structures of the brain. This examination is somewhat complicated by the advanced post-mortem interval with desiccation and drying of the remaining portions of tissue with the skull, as well as extensive mold overgrowth of this region. Also present are multiple fractures of the vault and base of the skull, in addition to multiple fractures of the facial skeleton. Okay. Now we're gonna go to number 5. Page 5. Number 2, on the left face at approximately the location of the nasal labial fold is a 2 times 1 inch laceration. This is attributed to a secondary laceration associated with the gunshot blast to the head. Radiology. There are 4 views of the body. These include a modified lateral view of the head, an AP view of the chest, an AP view of the lower chest, and an AP view of the pelvis. The modified lateral X-ray of the head shows multiple skull fractures and multiple small metallic fragments and a larger metallic fragment present at the base of the skull and approximately the occipital location. I don't really understand the multiple small metallic fragments. Is that from the bullet? And a larger metallic fragment. Is that the bullet? Is the larger metallic fragment the bullet? And if so, what are the multiple small metallic fragments? Is that from the bullet? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Now we're in the last paper, which is this. It's a screenshot. Toxicology results. Case number 10SN0615. Last name Ellis. Third, first Jesse. Middle name is Lawrence. Add new record. Substance. There's ethanol, ETHANOL. And then diphenhydramine or diphenhydramine. DIPHENHYDRAMINE. That's one word. So it's ethanol and diphenhydramine. And for the ethanol, the quantity is 0.070 and the unit is G/100 m. And these are both taken through urine. It's a specimen, it says here. But you can't believe everything. Like was he forced to take any of these? I don't really get it. And he had this writing too where he called my mom Anna, ANA. And my dad never calls my mom Anna. My mom always calls my mom Anna. My dad always calls my mom Annalyn. Never Anna, like ANA. And he has a letter that said that. I believe it was near when he was about to die. But he also wrote about how his workplace were not good to him, you know? But I didn't find much about that writing. I only saw one sentence and it was barely any information. But anyways, when it comes to my father, people are very weird about it and strange. If you know what, before I say that, imagine being a daughter of your dad who was there when you were a baby, and then he left when you were around 8 months old, and then your relationship with him is talk to him on the phone, and he supports you and your mom by sending money, and he would send you gifts, and he was a godly man. He would talk about God every time. He would talk about God all the time, and he would talk about God even for hours with your mom. And then he would teach you how to be kind. He's just a very good father despite being away. He still supports you with discipline and financially and comfort. And then one day when you're 10 years old, Yeah, when you're 10 years old, you didn't know that he's dead, right? Like, your two older sisters from his first wife will visits you, gives you the ashes, and then lets you listen the recording, the silver recorder. And it sounded like he was out of breath. It's like it sounded like he was running. You know, like it sounded like he was running, or like he was running from someone or some people. And what he was saying didn't really make sense, but he did say pull the trigger a lot. It just doesn't make sense. Like, was he drugged? Like, did they drug him? And then they were chasing him, and then he tried to find his words, and that's why his words didn't really make sense. Was he forced to say some of those things? Because the way he was breathing sounded like he was done running, you know, but he was running. Was he being forced? I don't know. It's very odd. Was it AI? Because there are a lot of technologies that have existed for years, and they don't tell people until a certain year. Just how it is in the military, they have technologies that have been invented and in place for years, and they don't tell the public about it or show it to the public until way later. It's just like with AI, it was that someone else in the recording and it was a different voice, and you're wondering, how can it be a different voice in recording? Well, maybe they made a video like through the phone, and then they played it like they were pretending to be my dad, and then they recorded it in the recorder. Like, okay, you say this and I'm run for a long time, and then say all these things, and then say pull the trigger, and then you're gonna sound exactly like Jesse because it's AI. I mean, I'm not saying this is what happened, but maybe, because that recording, I don't get it. Like, I don't believe he did suicide, so it doesn't make sense to me how that recording even existed. And then recorded it, you know, like, okay, now you sound exactly like him, because you can do that now, but that doesn't mean AI hasn't been here, you know, for all these years. You just didn't know about it. So yeah, imagine if that's what happened, and then you don't know much about your dad. You don't remember seeing him in person, because he did go to you when you were a baby, but you don't remember that he left when you were around 8 months old and never came back in person. But y'all did talk on the phone, never video chatted. You just listened to his voice, and he listened to your voice. And you want to know a lot about him. You want to know what his personality was like. You want to know what his life was like, who he was. And you have a lot of traits like him, and your personality, but you just don't know much about him. And then when you ask about him, there's so many secrets. And people lie, and people and your family member from his side or members will try to paint you as someone that you're not and falsely accuse you, so that maybe they can pin something against you, so that you don't ask about him, or you don't speak out about him. It doesn't even make sense. Like, and they call you obsessed, even though you don't always talk about him, you do ask about him. Or they get mad, they say it's like emotionally taxing. They say, only ask us about daddy, okay, only ask us. But when you ask, especially when you're 25 years old, they say, well, you know what, I have children and it's emotionally taxing. Well, then don't tell me that you're willing to tell me about dad then when I ask. Like, I don't know much about him at all. But when I ask about him, I'm the bad guy. They know how to find a way where we argue and paint me as the bad one. Like, if you don't want to talk about him, just tell me. Like, you're already showing me that. Why is it so hard to just tell me I don't want to talk about dad? Just tell me. You don't have to be like a snake slithering left, right, trying to dodge it. Like, just tell me straight up. It's weird. It's strange. It's demonic. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's disappointing. It's confusing. I may never know what truly happened to him. I do want to know, but if I know, then it'll happen in God's perfect timing. And if God does not want me to know, then He will do everything He can to keep the information from me. So, I don't know. I may know one day, or I may not. But I do want to know what truly happened with my dad and why everyone is strange and weird and secretive about him, especially his death. Would even try to intimidate or instill fear in me, and would falsely accuse me of stealing their family album. Like, what am I gonna do with that? Like, to make me seem like I'm weird about them? Like, what? It doesn't make sense. You know, like, I love my sisters. If they were in my shoes, they would understand why I feel this way. That's why I'm saying, put yourself in my shoes. It's important to put yourself in other people's shoes. Sometimes I put myself in other people's shoes all the time. So try to do it with me. If you are involved with my dad's death, or shall I say murder, imagine if you were him. Imagine if what happened to him happened to you. What they did to him is what they did to you. Imagine what you did to my dad, someone did to you. Or to your loved one. Imagine what they did to my dad, or what you did to my dad happened to your wife, happened to your husband, happened to your daughter, happened to your son, your aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, cousin, nephew, niece, girlfriend, boyfriend, someone really important to you. Imagine if what you did to my dad, even if you didn't kill him, but you know what happened and you just let it happen, or you know that what's about to happen and you just let it happen. What if you were able to stop it from happening and you didn't do it? What if that happened to you, that someone was able to stop it, but they didn't do it? I'm not crying on purpose. I did not intend to cry in this video, but I was expecting myself to cry because, I mean, this is about my dad, you know? I was expecting to cry while I was reading that, but I guess it's after. I'm not here for attention. Look at me, I'm crying. Most of the time I suppress my emotions because I don't want anyone to know what I'm feeling inside. I'm not saying this for pity. Please don't pity me. Because even though people are going through something worse, you know, like it's still bad. You should never underestimate someone's pain, sorrow, or hurting just because other people have it worse, especially in this moment. I don't know everything you have gone through in life, and you don't know everything that I've gone through in life. My life right now, it is nothing compared to what I have gone through in 2023 and 2024. That was the worst ever what happened to me in Clear Lake. And just because other people have it worse does not make my situation small or unimportant, or that it doesn't matter. My situation is very important. My situation indeed very much so matters, and I will not underestimate it. Just like how every single person, we have gone through worse than others, and there's also others who's gone through worse than us. But don't you ever underestimate your situation just because other people have it worse. Rich, poor, free, slave, we've all have gone through pain. If you want to speak about certain things that have happened in your life or is happening in your life, please do. And don't stop talking about things you want to talk about just because other people have it worse. Don't ever do that. Don't listen to those people, even if you've grown up in places like that where you grow up hearing, you know what, other people have it worse, to make you feel better. I guess sometimes it does make you feel better, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it makes you feel like worse. But it doesn't matter. Just know that your situation matters, and it is important, and it should not be underestimated. And anyone who underestimates it, you should not talk to that person anymore about the things you're going through unless you see changes, because you have every right to speak about it without being underestimated and being discredited and dismissed just because other people have it worse. They don't know everything you've gone through. You've gone through some things that are worse than others too. You need to be chopped up to talk about your situation. Like, talk about it even if it's little. But anyways, I don't care. If anyone is thinking negatively of me, I don't care. That's from the demon in your, that's from Satan in your head. But anyways, I just wanted to share about my dad. I love my dad so much. If I don't know what truly happened to him in this life, then I hope that God will reveal to me what happened to my dad when I die. The same with justice. You know, I did not get justice with what happened to me in Clear Lake. And maybe I will in the future, maybe I won't in this life. But I know I will get my justice when I die. But I don't want any of those people to go to hell, even if they've drugged me, deceived me, hurt me, lied about me, falsely accused me, painted me as someone I'm not, and I'm still being falsely accused. I don't care. God knows the truth. So maybe I will know when I die, if I don't get to know what happened to him when I'm living. If you don't have a dad, and he's dead, just know that. Even if you're a guy, it's okay to cry. Just be real, you know, like, be real and don't suppress your emotions. If you do suppress it, make sure you let it out later. You know, like if you're at work, you're thinking about your dad or your deceased parent, let it out later. Find a time to let it out. It's not good to suppress it and never let that out. If you feel like you need to cry and you're suppressing it because maybe you're at an event or you just don't want to deal with it right now, you have to let that out. It's not healthy for you to just keep it in and not let it out at all. Just know that even though you're not alone, know that he or she is with you. And ultimately, God is with you. And if you're doing evil and he's not there to tell you, or she's not there to tell you, your dad or your mom's not there to tell you to stop it, I'm here to tell you to please stop. I'm not a mom. I mean, I was pregnant before, and then I had a miscarriage, multiple ones. So I guess I am a mom. I just didn't give birth to my baby full term, or my baby's full term, but my cousins see me as their mom. My nephews and nieces sometimes sees me as their mom too, but just like how I treat them. Or even my friends would say, okay, mom, because I'm telling them, no, don't do that. Like, it's not good. But despite if people see me or my family members see me as kind of like their second mom, just know, please do not do evil. I'm going to talk to you right now as if I am your mother. I'm going to pretend that I'm talking to my kid. God is real, and we're all going to die one day. The most important thing you can do in this life while you're living is to make sure that you are righteous and godly. Even if you're not godly, it would be better if you are godly. But if you are not godly, it is better to be righteous than evil. Because if you do evil and continue down that path, you continue to do evil things, you continue to be an evil person, you will go to hell. Especially if you don't repent, which is asking God for forgiveness wholeheartedly and actually turning away from sin, turning away from evil, turning away from doing bad, evil, wicked, corrupt things. If you are evil, please repent. Turn away from sin. I'm serious right now. Hell is not worth it, and it's not a party like what the Freemasons portray it to be, is what I've heard. Hell is forever. Imagine you're in the oven forever, but worse. You know, like how you try to touch a hot pan for 1 second. It's not gonna kill you, okay? Some people are probably like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. I don't like to mock people, but some people are probably gonna say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that she's just telling us to touch a pan for one. That's just 1 second. Feel how hot that is. Imagine if your whole body was touching that pan, but even hotter for eternity. And demons are laughing at you, along with everyone else with you. And it's dark and it's hot. And you're being laughed at
for eternity. Do you want to be in that place? So if you're evil, ask God for forgiveness wholeheartedly. I suggest you make that decision. You might die tomorrow or later today. I'd rather you have regret in this life and forgive yourself and ask God for forgiveness and forgive others, because God will not forgive you if you don't forgive others. You have to force yourself to forgive others. You have to feel it. You have to humble yourself. You need to kill pride and humble yourself. You're not better than anyone. Humble yourself. Again, I'm talking to you as if you're my kid right now. You need to humble yourself, okay? There is someone greater than you, stronger than you, better than you, most powerful, way more powerful. And you don't have any powers. And if you do, it's only from Him and Him only, which is God Almighty and Jesus Christ, our Savior. So you need to bow down to Him. You need to be humble and ask God for forgiveness. You will rot to the ground one day. You know about death. People die. It's already in your face. You've already heard it. You've already seen it. You've already read about it. Death is real. Everything's in the Bible, even though the Bible is altered, so be careful when you read it. But all I'm saying, my point is, if you're doing evil, please turn away. Ask God for forgiveness, okay? Ask God for forgiveness. You need to turn away. You have to make that decision. I want you to take this seriously. I don't want you to just listen and then go on with your evilness after this. You need to make that decision so that you can be in heaven. Read Ezekiel 18, Ezekiel chapter 18, from verse 1 to the end of the verse. I forget how many verses it is, but the whole entire chapter, I think it's Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 1 through 21. I think it's only up to 21, and then it's the chapter 19, but I can't remember how many verses is in Ezekiel 18. I would search it enough. I have a laptop or my phone, but I think it'll end if I go search it. So yeah, do that. If you're righteous, then please continue to be righteous. And I pray that you're godly. Excuse me. Always pray to God. Always pray to God every day. Pray over yourself. Pray over your family. Pray over your life. Break curses. Ask God for protection from witchcraft, from chemicals, from poisons, from drugs in our food and our drink, the air, from chemical trails, everything. If you don't have parents, God loves you. I love your soul. I just hate evil. So if you're evil, I hate your evilness. So please don't be evil, okay? Alright, well, you are not alone. Even if you're alone physically, there's angels and demons that you can't see fighting over your soul. There are demons in human flesh, and there are angels in human flesh, and they're also fighting over your soul. Satan and God in heaven are fighting over your soul. Do you know how special you are? Don't you believe the lies of the devil in your head, saying you're not good enough? You are good enough. Saying you're ugly, you're not ugly. You're beautiful. You're handsome. And you can do better. You are doing better. If you're not doing better, you can do better. You can still turn it around. You can still change. Especially if you're acknowledging your mistakes. At least you're acknowledging it, right? At least you're taking accountability. And if you're not taking accountability, if you're not acknowledging, please do so. Please humble yourself. You're not all that. God created you. That's how Satan was in heaven. He was very
very prideful. Don't be anything like him. Be everything that is the opposite of him. No, you will never be perfect because you're not Jesus. Of course you will sin, but as long as you try your best every single day, to not sin, you are a righteous person. Where you do your best to not sin, you are a righteous person. Every day, you fight the temptation to drink, to fornicate, to kill, to steal. To traffic others, to rape others, to drug others, falsely accusing others, slandering others, gossiping. You try your best not to do any of those things, no matter how little it is. Cause others to fall down, setting others up. Don't be like that. Be better than that. And if you are not like that, I'm so happy. Please continue to do that. It just makes me want to cry that there are people that are not like that. But there's not many. There's very few. And that's why my heart aches. This world is evil. If you're good, please continue your goodness. If you're not being good, please change your ways. Ask God for forgiveness, change your ways. I want to see you in heaven. Anyways, that's what happened with my dad. And if you're watching me and you know something about my dad, maybe you can reach out to me some way, somehow. My Facebook is Laura Ellis. My profile picture right now is me wearing a polka dot dress with my little cousin. She's wearing this maroon shirt, and behind us is Christmas trees. And I have a YouTube channel. I do. It's Laura Annalyn Ellis, no space, LauraAnnalynEllis. It's the same profile picture. And then my Instagram is Laura Annalyn, LauraAnnalyn. And I believe it's also the same profile picture, but I don't know who else will watch this maybe in the future, and I might have a different profile picture at that time, or maybe I will have a different social media. Maybe different Facebook, maybe different YouTube, maybe different Instagram, but I am not planning to change my YouTube. I am not. But I could have one of them, I don't know. I'm not planning to change any of them, especially my YouTube channel. But that's it. Alright, well, I don't have anything else to say about this or my dad or yeah. I hope I've said everything I wanted to. Alright, well, God bless you and be safe, okay? Evil is everywhere. And that's just the truth. Even if you don't believe in God, it's true that evil is everywhere, but God is also everywhere. So don't be afraid. Remember, not all things that are happening that are bad is from God. It's written in the Bible too. It said along the lines of everything bad is not from him and he will help you. Something along those lines. He will get you through it, you know? He will help you and get you and guide you through what so that you will be victorious, so that you will be in a better place, as a better being, you know? Sorry, I have a lot in my mind. God always helps you. Not all things bad is because of him. Don't be led astray by false prophets, false priests, fake Christians, false Christians. Be careful, and be confident that God is with you. Evil is here, but God is here. Demons are here, but angels are here. In human flesh and in the spirit. Yeah, there's sin, but there's also forgiveness. Yeah, there's hate, but there's love. There's darkness, but there's light. So even though you see all these negative things, don't you forget the positive things. Please don't. Please don't. Don't focus on the negative. Don't focus on the bad. Don't focus on the dark. Focus on the good things. That's what God said too. Set your sights on heavenly things. If you focus on the bad, you're gonna feel bad. You're not gonna feel good. You're gonna be. Sometimes people spiral down. You start to feel bad, and then all of a sudden you're thinking bad all the time now. Don't go there. Change that. If you are there, think of good things. I have this problem, but I will find solutions. I can't find solutions to this or these problems right now, but I will, and I'll keep looking for solutions. I'll try. Right now is not the time, so I'll wait. You know, everything will be okay. Everything will be fine. Everything is okay, even if it looks like it's not okay. You know why everything is okay right now? Because God exists, because God is here. God is always watching. You need to trust in him. Everything is okay. Even when you see things that is obviously not okay, because he's always working. There are spiritual laws, but always have faith and trust in God. Everything will be fine. Do what makes God happy. Do what is right in God's eyes. Be loving. Alright, I'm gonna go now. If no one has told you, I know I said I'm gonna go now, but I just want to say, I can just feel that there are people who feel so alone. So I just want to say, no one has told you this, especially recently or lately. I want to let you know that I love you. I do love every soul. I just hate evilness, like sins and evil. I love your soul, okay? Please be good if you're not, and please continue to be good if you are. Please be righteous if you're unrighteous, and please continue to be righteous if you are already righteous. Especially if you're godly and holy. Be godly, be holy if you're not. I love you.